Hello everyone, this is Christine Halsey, and today we're looking at packet tracer 5328 and examining the ARP table. Okay, so we have three objectives: examining an ARP request, examining a switch MAC address table, and examining the ARP process in remote communications. So in examining an ARP request, we're going to generate an ARP request by doing a ping from one address to another. So we're going to click on 172.16.31.2. Here, it's kind of hard to see. And go to desktop and get the command prompt. So we're now at the command prompt for that PC, and we'll enter an ARP space -D. That actually clears anything that's in the ARP table or deletes it. Now we're going to come down and go into the simulation mode. Now we're going to enter a ping command, and we're going to ping the PC right next to us. (172.16.31.3). Okay, and it tells us 2 PDUs are generated. I can see them both there in my list. And I can see the two of them here. One's an ICMP, Internet Control Messaging Protocol, and the other one is the ARP request. Alright, we're going to capture forward once. Notice that the ICMP packet is dropped at the switch and only the ARP request remains. At this point, we're going to open the ARP request, or open the PDU, I'm sorry. And we want to look for the destination MAC address. Not IP, but the destination MAC address. Okay. We can see here in the packet, or in the layer 2 information itself, here's the address FFFFFFFFF, and up here it tells us that is a broadcast destination address. Alright, now we're going to capture forward again. And see what happens. Okay, so what the switch did here was it didn't know where the address was for the packet that it sent. The IP address, it did not know exactly where it was. So it broadcast it. So it made 3 copies of the packet and sent it out to all the ports except for the port that it came from. Okay, so if 50 were connected out here, it would send it out 49 of them, all but the one it came in on. All right, then only one accepts it. So you can see here the red X's. Those aren't accepting it, so there's no outbound packet information. Here, it is accepted, and then it creates an outbound PDU. Now when we look at the source MAC address, it knows the MAC address, and it now knows which port that MAC address is located off of. It also knows the port of the source MAC address. So now it has 2 ports that it can list in its table. All right, so we want to click Capture Forward until the PDU returns to the sender. All right, and again, it made 2 copies as it came back. Well, no, it made 1 copy, but it's sending 2 PDUs. Okay, we're going to open the ICMP packet and look at the MAC addresses. All right, so this is our source and this is our destination. So our source was 2, our destination was 3. Okay, now we're switching back to real-time mode. And we're going to click on .2 again. This time, instead of deleting the ARP table, we're going to ask it to list the addresses in it. And now it associates that IP address with that MAC or physical address. Okay, so an end device sends out an ARP request when it wants to send out some information to somebody. It's kind of like saying, hey, where you at? I want to send you something. The response is, I'm over here. And that information is the port that whoever you want to send information to is connected to. So that's what we learned in the ARP table. Oh, it went away. There it is. Once we sent out the ARP request, it came back and it said, okay, for this IP address, here's this MAC address. And now the switch knows where that IP and MAC address are. So that's our next step, is to examine the switch in the MAC address table. All right, so first they want us to generate some traffic. So we're going to come to 17, our PC2, and go to the command prompt, and this time we're going to ping 172.16.31.4. And 10.2 we're going to open and go to the command prompt and ping 10.10.10.3. So we generated our traffic. Now we're going to go look at the MAC address table. So we're going to come to switch 1 on the command line tab. And we're going to do a show MAC dash address dash table. Okay, so that source MAC address that we were looking at is right here, and it's off FA02, which is here. We can turn on our inspect tool and look at the different interfaces. All right, so the one in particular that we were looking at was right here. It is off of FA02. Let me see if I can get that other one to click. There we go. So off FA02 for the switch. Okay, off FA01, that would be the computer that I'm currently looking from the 2. Off the gigabit port is going to be the router, I would imagine. Yep. And then we had off FA03 would have been PC4 or the .4. And now let's do the same thing on switch 0. So I'm going to CLI and do show MAC dash address dash table. And again, I see a lot of the same devices here. Well, not the same devices, the same interfaces or ports. And can I bring that up and click at the same time? Let's see if I can pull it over here and it won't go away. All right, so I'll switch 0. Come on. It has 2 ports. And it's not wanting to cooperate. There we go, FA02. And come on. He's being mean to me. Come on. Show me this one. I don't know why it's not showing me that one here. Let's do it this way. That's our gigabit. We can look here in this table and see that Fast Ethernet 02 is up and is associated with that MAC address in the table. Gigabit 01 is up and associated. VLAN 1 is not set, so you cannot do remote configuration of that device. Oh. Let's see if it'll show me these. No, okay. I wanted to go back to switch 0. Sorry, having clicking problems. And It has 2 MAC addresses associated with FA02. Any guesses as to why that would be? What else would be associated? Am I pointing? There we go. Which 2 MAC addresses would be associated with the same port off that switch? Interesting. Okay. Here we're going to examine the ARP process in a remote connection. So we're going to go to 172.16.3.2, that second computer that we've been using. And this time we're going to ping 10.10.10.1. Oh, oops. Okay. And then we're going to type ARP-A to get a list of what's in the associated table. So we have .1, .3, and .4, and all the addresses associated with it. So what address did it associate? What new address did it? Is that what it's asking? I'm not sure what it's asking me to compare it to since the last time I did an ARP-A. I have 1 and 4 now associated off with their MAC addresses. Now they want us to clear it, so we're going to enter ARP-D and switch to simulation mode. We're going to repeat the ping. Notice now it's taking longer. Okay, once we do the ping there, we get 2 PDUs here, and we'll do a capture forward. That sends it to the switch. Alright, what's the target destination IP address for the ARP request? Target destination IP address is coming in as 172.16.31.1. which is the address why is it not showing my IP addresses? Alright, I'll have to show you up here where that IP address is. And they don't have it listed there. Okay, this can be the IP address for the other switch interface. So it doesn't know to send it directly over here to this network. It knows to send it out this switch to this router. There we see that address. The .1, 31.1 for the address of the router. So that's its default gateway. Okay, now they want us to examine the ARP table for router 1, so we'll go back to real-time mode, click on router 1, go to our command line. It wants to enter privilege exec mode. To do that, we type enable, and then show MAC dash address dash table. There are no addresses in the table because we cleared it before we did that. And then when did they have me clear it last? Yeah, here. I guess I didn't process this whole packet here, so it never actually received the ARP request, so it didn't even get entered into the table. If we had completed that, we'd have at least one entry there, or should have. Enter the show ARP. Alright, so it didn't make any entries in the MAC address table, but this is our address resolution table, and it did make a couple of entries. Alright, so even though that scenario did not finish out, the ARP requests were still created in that ping. That allows these entries to be created in the ARP table. Right. That concludes, well, it should have concluded our assessment. Usually when I'm at this point, it comes up and says, congratulations, you've completed the activity. I think I did everything. If it did the same for you, just submit a screenshot of this here and how much time you spent in the activity, and that'll be a log for this assignment. Thank you.